In the last movie, we set up the parametric array of chairs along the bottom edge of the table here, and we flexed it and found that the quantity of chairs needed to have some sort of relationship to the overall size of the table. In this movie, we're going to set up a family type parameter, which is going to give us that ability. So a family type parameter allows us to swap out the table that we're using in a parametric way. So our end user will be able to actually select the final parent family, which includes both the table and chairs, but choose a different table within that family from the parameter we give them. And then we're going to take the array that we set up in the last movie and make it respond to that change. Now, if you're following along with me, I've already mirrored the N chair, so you might want to go ahead and do that if you're using your file. Otherwise, you can open up the file family types parameter, which I've provided here. So the first thing I want to do is take the array that we have along the bottom here, and I want to mirror it. And I didn't do that one ahead of time because I wanted to make sure that you grab everything correctly here. So I'm not getting the reference plane here, but I do want to get all of the chairs, all of the dimensions, and the array dimension here. So I want to make sure you're selecting all the parts before we mirror it over to the other side. Then we can simply mirror it from here over to there. And let's just do a quick flex just to make sure that everything's behaving the way it should. So I'll just choose one of my other sizes here, and you can see that everything's adjusting, and then I'll go back to my 120. Now what we want to do is talk about the family types parameter. And the family types parameter, as I said, is going to allow us to take this table and swap it out parametrically, and then we can create types within this parent family that will control the quantity of chairs for us. There's two ways we could set up the family types parameter. We can actually do it in the family types dialog using the add parameter button. Now, if we do it this way, it's actually a little bit more roundabout. We have to add the parameter. We come over here to the type of parameter and we open the list, and we've looked at several of these types already. We've seen text and we saw integer in the last movie with the array, and we've certainly done length quite a bit. We did material. Here's our family type parameter down at the bottom of the list. Now, when you choose this, what this parameter is doing is it's saying that you want to create a reference to the families that you have built into this file. And it will say, well, which category are you interested in? And it will give you the list of categories. And so when I scroll through the list here, I'm going to find the furniture category and click OK. And so it'll create a family type furniture parameter. So what this means is that this parameter will be associated with other kinds of furniture that are already in this file. Now, you can group this wherever you want. I'm going to put it under graphics, but you can put it in any category you want. And call this table kind. Now, I've set it up here kind of the long way. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click OK again to get out of there. Let me show you the alternative way, which is actually a little bit easier and kind of consistent with the ways we've created other parameters. Like if you wanted to create a dimension parameter, you started by selecting the dimension, going up to the label dropdown, and choosing Add Parameter. We can do the same thing with a family types parameter. You start by selecting a nested family component, like this table, and then you'll notice that it also has a label feature, and you open up the dropdown, and there's Add Parameter. Now, table kind is already here because I just set it up, but if I went directly to Add Parameter, you see that it would have chosen family type furniture for me. Now, I wanted to show it to you the long way first, just so you could kind of appreciate where this short way is a little bit nicer. So if you start by selecting the object that you want to swap, this table in this case, then Revit will set up the parameter for you in the correct way. So let me cancel here, go to label, and choose the one I've already set up because it's already there. And notice that that instantly flexed the table. And the reason for that is, if I go back to family types, the family type parameter just defaulted to the first item on the list. So it went to the 48 by 72 size table. Now, of course, with the 48 by 72 size table, and let's make this a little larger here and adjust these columns so that we can read this a little better. There we go. All right. So with that size table, a quantity of 5 chairs just doesn't work. So let's drop the quantity down. Let's try maybe 3. That's a little close quarters. I can imagine feeling a little bit uncomfortable sitting to the guy next to me. So let's drop down maybe to 2 and try that. There, everybody's got plenty of room now. And let's make a family type out of that. So I'm going to call this 48 inch by 72 inch, 2 chairs. So that will appear here as a family type. Now, we did family types in a previous chapter, so feel free to go back and review that a little if you need to. Now, the next size table that we have on the list is our 40 by 84. So I'm going to choose that one next, create a new family type. And I think 3 chairs will probably work in an 84-inch length. So let's try that. And let's apply it. So you can see that the table swapped, everything adjusted, the chairs all stayed positioned relative to the table, the 2 arrays updated, and we now have that size. You could do every size you have on the list here. One little word of caution, you'll notice that the chair broyer is also on the list. Unfortunately, the family type parameter in this case is furniture, and there's no way to tell it that we're only interested in tables and not chairs. So hopefully the end user will be a little bit smart about this and won't choose a broyer chair in the middle there. You'd end up with a chair sitting here in the middle and all these other chairs around it. Probably a little silly, but maybe they'll get a laugh out of it and they'll realize that they probably shouldn't have done it that way. So I'm going to just do one more here, and I'll do the 120-inch size. Let's create new again. 48-inch by 120-inch with, I think we can fit 5 chairs on that length. So we'll do 5 chairs, increase the size, click apply. And if you want, feel free to add the remaining 2. But hopefully you can see there that that does add the level of flexibility that we were looking for. So using a family types parameter gives us a parametric way to control which nested family we have loaded into our overall parent family, and therefore allows us to set up types in this case that allowed us to control very logically the quantity of chairs we have surrounding the table.